What's up? This is Dat Dirty Spoon from the IWC, and this is the wrestling recap for November 27th, 2012. Thank goodness the holidays have taken a pause so I can get back to doing what I really enjoy doing, and that's not having dinner with my family. Nah, that kid, they're pretty cool. And some of my friends are cool too. Well, some of my friends are cool too. Anyway, biggest story going on in WWE right now is the debut of the new Nexus. No, Aces and Eights. I'm sorry, Shield. Yes, that's it. That's the new faction featuring a Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. They have recently been doing nothing but helping CM Punk retain his WWE Championship against a one unstoppable Ryback. These guys have done three things so far. They beat up Ryback and said they're for justice. Well, apparently that justice includes supporting CM Punk. Now, it may sound like I'm cynical towards this group. I'm actually not. Every time a new faction debuts in either TNA or WWE, I'm very much the first people to get in line. I enjoy factions. I like what the possibilities they bring, especially the kind of group mentality where three mid-carders can challenge a headliner or main eventer and be a credible threat that any one of them could, with the support of the others in the group, take care of a lone wolf such as a CM Punk or in TNA a Kurt Angle or whomever. That is the one thing that I like about the groups. But I do like a group that has defined rankings, which one of the things I actually do like about Aces and Eights, but we're going to get to them later, is the group of the Shield. There doesn't really seem to be a main leader or focus. They seem to be more of a group mentality where the group decides and the group acts. Well, that presents itself a problem where what if someone in the group doesn't agree and there's no real leadership to say do this or don't do that. That was the thing that really appealed to me about the Nexus. I thought that Wade Barrett was a very strong leader and he was a defined leader and everybody knew he was in charge. Nexus really started to fall apart when Wade Barrett wasn't around to give orders. But back to the Shield. They had an interview with Michael Cole on Monday that I thought was an extremely good way to introduce them to the WWE Universe as a whole. Guys like me and anyone who's watching this video, remember the IWC, we have been really big on Rollins and Ambrose for a very long time. They're probably the two most talented guys that were in NXT. It was only a matter of time before they broke out and made it to the main roster. Again, we don't know a lot about Reigns. I have not begun to go into the research to see any of his matches, but from what I'm saying, what I've seen so far, he seems pretty strong. Again, that's the great thing about the group mentality. As long as everyone looks good, does what they're supposed to do, nobody messes up, Daniel Bryan, and spits in John Cena's face, then everything should go well. That being the case, I really hope that they're not just cannon fodder for Ryback to get to TLC. That would really greatly depreciate especially Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins in the eyes of the WWE Universe as a whole. I don't want these guys to fine down. I want them to remain strong. And hopefully this will be the start of a very long and entertaining career. The road to WrestleMania is coming up. Royal Rumble is coming up very soon in January, but first we have the speed bump that is TLC. WWE has already announced several matches for TLC, including a chairs match between The Big Show and Sheamus, which scares me because that first match they had at Hell in a Cell was so good. The match of Survivor Series was not so much. So I'm thinking that adding the gimmick of chairs might definitely hurt the match more than it helps the match, but it does put the WWE Championship in jeopardy. The other match that we have found out about is apparently we are getting a match between Ryback and CM Punk for the WWE Championship. I say that because we've already had a no disqualification match and a triple threat match. Also had no we had a Hell in a Cell match, no disqualification, no countouts, a triple threat, no disqualification. And now we're going to probably have we are having a TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs. Again, no count out, no disqualification. It seems like CM Punk is just getting booked in these matches where he has an out that he doesn't have to take the pin from Ryback, and Ryback doesn't have to lose. I know that they have the one-on-one match. All sorts of things can go wrong. They obviously do not have the faith that Ryback is ready to carry a AAA match. And I say, they've been doing house shows together. Let them work out the kinks. Give us a AAA match. I don't think it's going to be the tables, ladders, and chairs match. Those type of matches are train wrecks at best. That's what the audience has been conditioned to see, and I don't think that is what we are going to see, and we're going to be disappointed. I do not like when WWE sets up these matches for failure, and it seems like that's what they're doing to Ryback. Now, if this is what it takes to get Ryback to where he needs to be so he can be successful, I'm all for that. I just don't see it happening, and that's my problem. Suffice to say, I'm sold on Ryback being a future main eventer, and these early setbacks, these early losses, I don't want him to come back and haunt him in the future. Again, with TLC, the other big news is the AJ John Cena affair. It is still going on. I am not liking it. However, if it leads to a Dolph Ziggler John Cena match, that will have to be the best match that John Cena can put together. I know Dolph Ziggler is going to bring his A game. He's finally playing with the big boys, and that is what we have been waiting for in the IWC for quite a while. This last week, he had some very marquee matches and some very marquee victories, and they haven't really even Stevens him yet. They haven't made him job out yet. I will say that the loss on Monday to John Cena probably is a step in the wrong direction. However, he was very strong in the match, and at the end it turned into a cluster, so we have an out. My only problem is if he continues to lose in these close matches. That is what I do not want to happen. Dolph Ziggler needs to come out of TLC with the win so he looks strong, and then cashes in on a depleted Sheamus or Big Show to win the World Heavyweight Championship. But we're not at TLC yet. Unfortunately, that does bring us to TNA, which had their worst rating for the Thanksgiving show in 6 years. They had a .77. The only saving grace is that show was very much featuring the gut check participants. These are relatively unknown, the indie wrestlers who have recently or in a gut check competition won contracts with TNA. So there was not a lot of big names wrestling. Also, the Aces and Eights again took out another member of the TNA roster. They took out Eric Young, and I believe they took Eric Young out to greener pastures. He's definitely continuing his contract dispute with TNA. His contract's up in February, so it looks like we might have seen the last of Showtime EY. But I wish him the best while he goes fishing for giant fish, because that is what he's doing, and he's probably getting paid more from Animal Planet than from TNA, and it's only slightly less dangerous. But I digress. Again, both WWE and TNA, they're in their end of year kind of down, I'm not going to say downward spiral, but they're definitely bringing their B game to these next pay-per-views, and they're going to ramp it up for the start of next year, especially in WWE. The Rock has been confirmed for the 2 episodes of Raw before and the 1 episode of Raw after the Royal Rumble. So that means we're going to get 4 times we're going to see The Rock on TV, and unfortunately he is not confirmed for the Houston Raw, but I will be at Raw when they do come to Houston, and I'm hoping that we get a little sneak peek, maybe not advertised appearance of The Rock. That will definitely be my mark-out moment of 2013 if I get to see The Rock live. This has been That Dirty Spoons from the IWC, signing off.